cha. Ooh, cha. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Ooh, cha. Ooh, cha. Vibrant, can you hear me? Ooh, cha. Ooh, cha. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Ooh, cha. Ooh, cha. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Ooh, cha. Ooh, cha. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Ooh, cha. Ooh, cha. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Ooh, cha. Ooh, cha. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Ooh, cha. Ooh, cha. Can anybody hear me? Michelle's daughter, can you hear me? Okay, thank you, AC, for letting me know you can hear me. Hey, blonde, is that blonde queen? Blondie queen? Okay, I named this video, Ooh, child. You may be down, but you sure ain't out. You can't let these folks get you down. They love it when you down. But don't lay on your back and just give up. I'm glad Rico is out. He got out today. He go back to court on September the 30th at 9 a.m. and we'll just see how that goes. He said he lost his job due to being a no. He's gonna try to get him another job. Um, Now you know he is pissed now, okay, because he didn't get his dog back. Rico, the little dog, you know, which I knew they weren't gonna let him, get him back. But hopefully somebody else will adopt him and he'll find a good home. Hey, Hershey's Kisses. I made a lot of notes regarding Rico because the other day when I went off, I noticed that while it was going live, a lot of people went live with, and a lot of content creators in the beef sector. Some was against KRN calling the what, damn, the dog protecting people. The name will come to me in a minute. But some people was for it, some people was against it. Okay. But as in the beef sector, it's not gonna be every person that called on you. You know, 9 times out of 10, more than one person gonna call on you. Um, so I don't know, you know, how many people called on Rico. I'm glad when the police did knock on his door that he didn't act ugly with him or anything. You know, they listened to everything he had to say, and then they took him, down to the precinct. And I think the guys were calm and they held, they did good. They wasn't aggressive with him and he wasn't aggressive with them because, sometimes when you're heated, things can happen. So just thank God that Rico, made it through that little ordeal and he's okay. Um, he made it alive when he got out. Once he made it home safely, and he had him a beer, and he had a cigarette. So, you know, that's what he had the last time we seen him. So he okay. He's back being Rico. He's really upset. Um, regarding the treatment that he have received from the beef sector, but Rico know what the beef sector give. If they see something on you or either see a weak spot on you or you give out too much information, they are going to store that into their memory bank and they're going to use it against you every chance they get. And that's with any other sectors. It's not just the beef sector, okay? A lot of people think that the beef sector do all this shit. No, all this shit going on all over YouTube. In the beauty sector, all the sectors, okay? So, it is what it is. They call the police on each other. Uh, you fall out with your friend, they tell all your business. We see that. You might think somebody your friend and they really not your friend. They look at you like, they really don't care for you that much. Um, on YouTube, to me, I've noticed throughout the years that a lot of people use the word friend loosely. Just because you meet up with somebody in person, just because y'all went out to eat or to the casino or on a nature ride, that do not make you no friends. That's just a person you met in this whole big old you world that you might see lay eyes on twice or once, but that's not your friend. And people use that word really loosely on here, and I don't play with the word friend. I have very few friends in my real life. My friends are people that have been with me for years and years and years that I can tell anything, and I know that they're not going to tell my business. And they know I'm not going to tell their business. That's what a friend is. A friend is somebody that you love and have feelings for. But other than this shit that going on YouTube, all these people are acquaintances. They might have, the meet and greets and stuff. That don't make you no friend. Just because you stay with somebody, on one of these trips for the weekend, that don't mean that the person your friend. It be people that all these meet and greets that hate each other. They act like they like each other, but actually they hate each other. And see, I ain't got time for that kind of shit. But I'm just saying that people on here use the word friend loosely. Just because you talk to somebody on the phone, that don't make them your friend. Like I said, just because you go out to eat with somebody that don't make you no friend, that don't make you no friend in your real life. I don't get this shit, okay? And I don't get how these people just spill your darkest, things that happen to you in your life with these damn savages on here. Ain't nowhere in the hell. Ain't no, not me. But, they could keep doing it, and I'm going to keep talking about it, okay? Now I'm going to start when Rico was live the other night. the night before he went to jail. You know, by running around in the B sector, you hear, things that's going on. Well, I heard about him over there having knives and that he was threatening King Roman. And I found that out on King Roman Live. People were coming into King Roman chat and saying, Rico's over there threatening you with knives. Rico's over there saying he's going to come to your house. Rico saying this here. So, you know, it it is what it is. People call on you and all that kind of stuff. Rico don't hide where he live. He showed the building before. He tells his address. He, his birthday and all that kind of shit. He shows his ID on here. Today when he got out of jail, he showed the paperwork. You know, some things you don't need to tell people. Um, like when he was in jail last night, because he didn't get to see the judge until today. When he was, you know, uh, Wiley sent one of his producers went down there, and they stayed, until they found out that Rico wasn't going to be able to go to see the judge and all of that, because their courts in New York, it goes up to like 1 a.m. But that's a big city. I could see that. And I think, well, he said last night that the last docket was at 11 o'clock, and Rico's name was not on there. So that means that Rico did not get to go before the judge last night. Well, he went up today, and when they released him out, like back out onto the streets, the producer, one of Wiley's producers, was there. The same one that was giving us the information from Wiley's. He was there just in case Rico needed him for anything. And plus he probably just wanted to meet Rico. It is what it is. Now Rico is so crazy. He had me hollering. Do you hear me? He said that when he walked out and seen that somebody was there for him, that he felt like he was like at the Diddy trial. You know how you walk in and out of the courthouse. Child, I was hollering. Do you hear me? But he gave a shout out, and the guy name is Icon. He was the one that was giving the information from the courts concerning Rico. And then he was there today, and he gave him, bus ride and all that kind of stuff. Because once they let you out, you just out. You ain't like you get a ride to jail, you don't get a ride from jail. So you gotta have somebody come pick you up or make you, walk. And it is what it is. Or a lift. You're gonna have to figure it out once they release you. But luckily that guy was there, and he, was really nice to Rico and stuff. And I'm glad Rico had that, because like I said, you could be down, but you ain't out. He might have felt down, but that person seeing somebody out there in the world that cared about enough about him to come and be there when he was released, that says a lot for that person. Even though they probably was being nosy, and like when the person was at the jail last night, the phone was just constantly ringing, and he could tell when they was, somebody was calling about Rico, but it was like rehearsed what the person was saying, you know, and people was acting like they was his mama and all that kind of shit, dumb shit. But it is what it is, and this is the beef sector. No, this is how YouTube is. They're gonna squeeze everything they can out of a story, and that gave content. People want content, whatever's content. You know, and Rico, he was saying I'm trending and this and that. And when he was live today, he have watched some lives since he been out, and he have been doing some cussing on some of them folks. Okay, now let me get my notes so I can tell you. Rodney dropped down in the chat, and I love Rodney to death. But Rico cussed Rodney out. He called him bitches and all kind of stuff. And that I was getting my life. Rodney, you be getting cussed out all the time, child. And he said that he said that Rodney could stay in the chat, but he better thread lightly. Because he wasn't for no shit out of Rodney. He drug Stump down. He drug Jay Wilson, one Key Pro. He gave people shout outs like Wiley, Fabe, QB, Tracy, different ones. Timothy Blaine. Um, the same people that he had beef in when he went to jail, he still got the same beef. Now, one thing I see on his live today, like when he would get upset, he would cut it off, like stop talking and take a deep breath. He was catching himself and see. I'm sure people was telling him that at the jail, because you ain't by yourself. You have other people in there with you. Okay. Um, and he said if he want to talk to the police about the beef sector and Tasha K and all them, he can do it. And he's standing by that. And hell, he a man. He can stand by what he want to. That's his life. But I'm just telling you what he was saying. Let's see. Okay. Now, when I was watching his lives the other night, he had did a couple of lives. Um, he did like two, brandishing the knives and stuff. And he was saying, "You lucky I ain't got no, a pow pow, and I ain't gonna pull that out and all that." Rico ain't got no pow pow. He ain't that kind of person. I ain't never heard of him, having nothing like that. Um, let me see. And the other day when he was talking, he was saying like blood for blood. If you knock on my door, what I'm gonna do to you? And you better ask the police in Detroit because he had jumped, fought them before, like resisted arrest, and he was talking that big shit the other night. Okay, and y'all better ask somebody. I had a strangulation charge, and I'll fight, and I'll do this and I'll do that. And then he was saying that he had talked to his caseworker. Now this was the laughs he was doing the other night before he went to jail. Had said he had talked to his caseworker, make the caseworker aware of what's going on, and the caseworker was telling him, "You need to go down there and put them police on whatever your problem is, because you don't want this to lead to no problem with you having a bigger problem." You see what I'm saying? And the person was telling him right, and his chat was telling him right. But see, sometimes when you mad and shit happens, and then like he was mad, scared. He didn't want to lose his dog and all of that kind of stuff. But at least that's over with now. The dog is gone. You know, um, and he haven't done anything. He ain't not gonna do nothing cause his dog gone. Cause what he was saying today was, in so many words, every dog got their day. And you do the things that you have done to me, you're gonna get that back. Now he made that very clear today. He kept saying that over and over. I'm not gonna do anything to you, but you're gonna get that back. And he was saying for like the people that have been messing with him, that the things they doing to him, that's gonna get done back to them. And that's in a lot of cases that's the truth. Um let's see. He called, like when he was going off on KRN another other night, he was calling him a miserable bitch. And then he was telling, he was hugging his dog and letting the dog lick him and stuff. And he was saying, "My dog don't fear me. My dog love me, and I love my dog." And I'm sure he do. But it's just you can't do what you did on camera. I'm sure you have feelings for that dog. And he was wanting the people to leave him the F alone. Um, and he said that over and over that night, on those lies that he was making. He was saying he just wanted to be left alone. Leave me the F alone. He was saying like that. And he also said that when because Rico watch be all over the beef sector just like I do. Everybody over here, we're constantly looking at different lives. Well, he watched James' live that James made, and James did ask KRN to leave Rico alone. But honey, when KRN hit that live, he was dragging, and Rico was one of them. And he was dragging, and he was making phone calls. And I was saying, well, he didn't listen to James, but he don't have to listen to James. He grown. He gonna do what he want to do. That's on all the people involved. You know, on any scenario on YouTube, all of the us, we are grown. You can't make my mind up for me. It's mine. I make my own mind up. And that's the way Rico feel. And that's the way KRN feel. So, it is what it is, child. Uh let me see. Okay, wait a minute. All right, I'm going up now. Two. Wait a minute. I had to go down to find the Rico, the notes I had made on Rico from, the lives that he did before he went to jail. Now I'm going on his live when he did today. Okay. Let me go up. Oh, another thing, like when he was live the other night, he was saying something like he had to get a man pap smear. And I was saying, damn, I didn't know men could get pap smears. So what I did, I Googled that over in the night. Do men get pap smears? And no, that's for us. We have, they check if you got cervix cancer and stuff like that on females. But they do have things that they could do, like in your blood and all that kind of stuff for the men. And then that's they detect cancer and things like that through their butt. And then I checked it out for myself because once I hear something different, it makes me want to know. Just like I did the HIV test, I didn't know you could buy them over the counter. Well, I never even thought about a man having a pap smear, but Rico said it, so they did some behind to his butt when he went to the doctor when he was recording in the doctor's office. They was giving his results on whatever, okay? And YouTube heard too much about that. You know, Syphilis came up, like cancer, booty cancer. His numbers wasn't looking right, like the HIV numbers wasn't looking right because I don't know a whole lot about that, but a lot of things was revealed on that live because he couldn't turn his phone off because he wasn't supposed to be recording with it anyway. And that's just the way it is. Doctors office don't want you recording in there unless you ask them. And they have to be like clear, when they talking to you. Yes, you can record me. No. Because like when Big Baby was pregnant, she had her camera on one of her doctor's visits, and he was telling her you can't have that on in here. But then she told him that she wanted to experience her ultrasound, like her first ultrasound, with the doctor. And he gave her permission then to, do it, the video. But they ain't gonna, video like downstairs or nothing like that. She was just showing her different emotions that she was going through. And she would do that sometimes. Like sometimes she wouldn't feel good and she'd run to the doctor. Different things. And and she took us on her journey a little bit. But it wasn't nothing like major. But see, when Rico was recording in the doctor's office, it was like major shit going on. And last night, was over at D Spots, and I talked to him and was giving him the update that Rico was not going to be able to get out last night. Uh, and I gave him the time that the court closed, and it came. We started talking about when he was filming in the doctor's office. I didn't see it. I heard about it in the YouTube streets. Well, that video is not, it's not for the public now. Uh, but ODS said a troll sent it to him on his IG, and he told me, yeah, they was talking about something to do back, with his butt and syphilis and something else, like his numbers not being right. But hopefully he won't do that again, because to me that's a bit much. You don't want nobody in your life like that. But everybody make mistakes, and we learn from our mistakes. And maybe he learned. But yeah, ODS said it. Yeah, that was the truth. And I know Brian made a live regarding it the other day. I didn't get to see his live because I've been looking at so much other stuff and doing what I have to do around the house. Um, Brian had made a video to Rico regarding what he heard on that, on that live. And from my understanding, a lot of different people heard that, but I didn't personally hear it. But I believe it because I'm hearing the same thing. Like everywhere I move around, if it comes up, it's the same thing being said over and over and over the different areas I go to. Okay, but just thank God that Rico is out, and he said he's gonna have to find another job. Let's see what else he said. Uh, let's see. Oh, and like he said that he was gonna like some of the people from where Wiley is, his producers, that he was gonna like pay them back, you know, because they have been sending them cash apps and stuff. And a lot of people just doing it because they have really strong feelings for Rico. They want to see him win, but you know, um, it's only so much that people can do in a situation like this. Okay, let me go put you on hold just a second.
Ain't gonna be no refrigerator until Monday or Tuesday next week.
Girl, it's gonna be that long.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for being so patient with me. Hey, Lady Sparkles. Hey, Melissa. Let's see. Trying to make sure I spoke to everybody. Just a second. Hey, Brick Girl Haley. Hey, Daquan. Hey, Room Shaker. Like a honey. Ooh, she was boy. She was gang banging over there, lemons last night. I was saying, "Woo, child, woo, child." She was fighting. She was fighting 88. She was fighting 88 audio and Octavius, child. And if y'all ain't seen that child, go over there, child. You will get your life. You hear me, honey? Room shaker come out the gate. Ooh, child. Yeah, it got so bad over there that Lemon ended his show, child. They was dragging so low down and dirty over there that Lemon said, "Fuck this shit." Ooh, child. And everybody was, and the people that was in the chat last night when Lemon went off, we stayed chatting for a long time after the live was over, child. You hear me? Now, that's a good live when people just stick around after the live and see her chatting and laughing and stuff. Honey, we was the typing child. Lemon said, "Fuck this," because he was hollering and everybody was screaming at one time, and some people singing and some people laughing and other people's cussing and other people whining, and it was a damn mess. And I loved every minute of it. Do you hear me? Ooh, child. Yeah, Rule Shaker, honey, she jumped on, she beat up everybody, and she was on her best behavior, child, when she first come over there. Because you know, Rule Shaker don't fool with Lemon, and Lemon don't really fool with Rule Shaker. And when she hit the panel, I sit up at attention because I knew some shit was gonna happen because audio don't care for Room Shaker. Octavius, you know, he got mad at her because Ken drug him over at Room Shakers the other day, and that wasn't Room Shaker fault. If he should have been mad at anybody, it should have been Ken. That's who he should have been getting. Oh my God, Lord Jesus, honey, they was well. Since I'm talking about Lemon, let me talk about that now. At Lemons, it was Tracy, Room Shaker. These are the different people that was on the panel that night. Room Shaker, Ken, Audio, Octavius, 88, Tulsa, Malik, Brooke, and Kiki. The girl Kiki, she came down, but just briefly, okay? Um, Room Shaker and Audio got into it. Now, when Room Shaker hit the panel, you know, the live had been going like for a couple of hours. But when Room Shaker hit the panel, she came up there to address Ken. You know, she was just telling him, "Hey, come on down, let's bounce and get up out of here." Well, Audio started calling her bitches and stuff. Well, what do you think Rule Shaker gonna do? So they got into it, and I mean they was dragging, and Ken was in it too. You know, Audio was talking about like somebody gonna f his daughter, and it was a mess. Okay, I just put it like that. I ain't gonna tell y'all what was said. I'll let y'all go over there and see it, y'all. But you know, and then Audio, Lemon, you heard them? They're talking about kids and see how you doing and let the banner down. Cause see when they first started arguing and stuff, when him and Ken was into it, I started putting in the chat, put your banner up. You know, I kept putting that in the chat. And Audio was wanting him to take the banner down. But I was telling him, do not put the banner down, you know, because you're a known P bomber. Just because you say you ain't gonna do it, don't mean you ain't gonna do it. And then another thing, like when he P bombed YouTube cameras, like I said, I listen very I listen very close to what people say. Well, he said that he P bombed her because his mother was being discussed. Well, his mother was being, and then he lost his cool, and I couldn't take, I P bombed, and I'll do it again, saying stuff like that. Well, his mother was brought up on lemons last night. What make you think? I would think you're gonna lose your cool again and P bomb lemon panel. Okay, so lemon didn't take the banner down, and he was saying, "Oh, lemon, you got the banner up because I'm up here," and all that kind of stuff. Lemon, keep your banner up. When you have people that have put cootie cats and ding dings on people channels, anytime they hit the panel, your banner need to go up, and do not take it down until they exit stage left or exit stage right. And I can't be no plainer than that. And and I was also putting in the chat, Lemon, protect your channel. Protect your channel, because then what I was meaning by protect your channel is don't let your banner down. Listen to what these people are saying on your back on you, because they can say things that could get you struck. You know, they got buzzwords that they use. See, they talking about my kids, and see, I'll strike you and all that kind of shit. When that shit start coming out their mouth, that's what they will do to you. Okay, and I don't care what nobody say. They speak the way what they gonna do. And like when 88 P bombed Ness, when she P bombed Ness that time, it was because she say her children was being drugged. But like I was telling her over at Lemons that night, a different night, 88. If you don't like your kids to get drugged, the beef sector is not where you supposed to be at. Because the beef sector drag kids, whether you like it or whether you don't. But the beef sector is not the only sector that drag kids. I've heard kids get drugged in the Boat 3 sector. I've heard kids getting drugged in that black sector. All these sectors. I've heard children being dragged. And it's not against the law. If somebody cuss your kid out, that's not against the law. In the real world. If somebody sneak and take a picture of you, that ain't against the law. They take the pictures of the president and of the movie stars. What make you special? These folks just make up laws in their head, which is not the truth, and run with it. And people talk about people kids, like some people, like in your hometown. If somebody got some kids that's dirty, people talk about them kids. If somebody got kids that's always clean and crisp and stuff, people talk about those kids. If you don't comb your kids' hair, if you don't get your son's hair cut, if your kid walk around with a snotty nose all the time, if your kid is fat, if your kid is skinny, do you know anybody went to jail for saying somebody had a fat kid or a skinny kid? Do you know anybody went to jail for saying somebody kid dirty? Have you ever heard of anybody going to jail for saying somebody kid stink? No. So why the hell you putting these people on YouTube that's total strangers? Why you think they gonna give a damn? I'm just being for real. This shit, they making up, like I said, they making up rules out there. They pulling rules out their asshole. And then it's certain people that get tortured for dragging a kid. And it's other ones, they drag them and you never hear about it. The shit just fall out their mouth and everybody ignore it. It ain't no big uproar and they tell that don't happen. Everybody get quiet as the church mouse. But if the ones that people don't like say somebody kid, oh Lord, that's the end of the world. No, that's not the end of the world. You know. And people talk about what they see on here. If you bring your kids on here looking any kind of way, people gonna talk about them any kind of way. And she should have combed that girl head. She got you got your big ass up here on YouTube all the time. Why you ain't got time to comb your child head? But you can comb your child head, wow, on YouTube. While you on the panel, you can be combing your kid head, just like you can be cleaning your house up. There's a lot of things we can do while we on YouTube. It is what it is. So they can kiss my ass. And there's certain things you say to me. If you go low, I'm gonna go lower, and I don't give a damn what nobody say. They can kiss my damn ass. I ain't gonna get talked to any kind of way on here without me saying something. And you might not like what I say. I don't give a damn. You know, I don't give a damn. Okay. Now Ken, he got into it with Audio and Octavius. Now they have a rivalry that's been going on. Ken, Audio was supposed to be going to New Orleans sometime in July, like the 19th or something. Well, Ken made a live, and he was going around to different motels. Hey, is this such whatever Audio name is? I don't know that man's name, but Ken know it, and he was asking at the different motels did they have a person in their name that. And plus, him being from New Orleans, he probably know the people that work at at the front desk and all that kind of shit. It is what it is. But Audio wasn't nowhere to be found. He didn't go to New Orleans. Well, then they was going back and forth, back and forth. And then Octavius and Ken was going back and forth. But Ken was just like he just got quiet and let him drag. He didn't give a damn because he already done won once this week, so he had a night he could chill. But that's the way it is. It's always it's always tomorrow. If you don't feel like dragging today, hell, you might feel like it tomorrow. For entertainment. Okay, now Rodney, he did a live, and I couldn't understand why Rico was cussing Rodney out, but I didn't watch Rodney whole live. I just watched a little bit of it. And what I heard on Rodney live, he didn't agree at all with what King Roman did. So, I don't know if he started dragging Rico after I left. I don't know. But honey, Rico seen him dropping his chat today, and he let Rodney have it, but he didn't let him have it too hard. He was just calling them bitches and stuff like that. So maybe maybe he was redballing the lives like I do a lot of them. And but I don't know what he heard to make him so mad at Rodney. And then another thing that Rico was talking about, he had said that he had a cat named Snowbella, and the cat like scratched him or something. And he hit that cat so hard. Well, he said it didn't come out of that because I remember when he let that cat loose. When he opened the door and let the cat go, and that cat flew. I be putting in the chat that damn Snowbella, she's still running after all the years. Y'all, that cat ran so fast. It ran. People was driving down the street. That cat dodged them cars, and he was like lightning getting away from Rico. Ooh, and Queen Tulsa, you need to King Kong Tulsa, you need to sit your ass down. Now, what you do in the ODS is totally wrong. Calling that man job back to back to back, day after day. ODS have always said that he's straight on his job. And then told some news last night concerning his job. He say, like, he told him what he do on YouTube. He told his job how YouTube is, and how people was calling trying to get him fired because he said that people been doing that for years on here. Well, he said that they gave him, he got a better position due to him being a content creator. He got a better position, more money, and then he be like, um, he don't have to go on site a lot to work. He can work from home. Now you can't be there with a baseball bat because I'd rather be at home and have to put on clothes and all that to go out and go to work. I'd rather be at home and do it. But Tussle was making a big deal with them on the phone, saying she was saying so many. Tussle was saying some crazy, nasty stuff to the people on AT&T or wherever that is that ODS work. Um, Tulsa was saying, "Well, I've been a customer of yours for 12 years, a loyal customer, and I this and that, and want to make sure my account is protected because I have no idea what he'll do, and he have a freaky Twitter, and where he be doing sex acts, and then he be going behind buildings in broad daylight doing it and rubbing it on the walls. And he was saying some disgusting shit to that operator on that goddamn phone. And Tulsa, you was low down and dirty, 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 because that man haven't done nothing to you. You wanted to get it on a Rico thing, and that's why you started calling that man job. Now you know your ass still on probation. Now what the fuck would you say if he go down there and start calling your PO and tell him how you harassing him online and how you calling his job, trying to get him to lose his fucking job? Now, why come you ain't talking to KRN? KRN the one that called the police. He did it on, called the animal control. He did it on live. Why you messing with ODS? But your black ass think you slick. You remember when you was coming on here drunk and high and walking the streets and shit and staying fucked up and doing it on live? KRN dared you to come back on here like that again. KRN dared you to be walking up and down the street at night drinking and going to the liquor store and all that bullshit, selling your ass on the street in so many words. He dared you to come back on here smoking some weed. And you ain't been back on here. He scared you to death because you thought you was gonna get the clink put on you just like Rico. Because if it was me, honey, when you start calling my goddamn job, I would have called your PO right then, ho. Yeah, you Billy Badass. Why you ain't over there messing with KRN? KRN punked you down months ago. KRN punk you totally down where you don't drink on live or nothing, ho. But you Billy Badass. And everybody on here know you on parole or probation because you filmed it at the goddamn office. Now you think they can't figure out who your PO is, you dumb asshole? You gonna cut your nose out to spite your face. You're gonna lose more than ODS do. Because he's solid in his job situation. And like I said, he got a promotion for social media. He got a promotion for that shit on his job because he know that shit. And you think you gonna, honey? I would ODS. You need to come live and tell her, bitch, you got one more time. I wouldn't have gave a damn more time though. But you could say, bitch, you got one more time to call my goddamn job, ho. You got one more motherfucking time. And dummy, human resources already talked to him, bitch. They gave him the heads up, you dumb hoe. But like I said, you keep it up. And then he might not be the one that called on you. It might be one of the subscribers call on you. You remember how they did J Dunn? They said, well, 500 people contacted her PO. Now, that's a lot of goddamn people. You understand? Now keep it up. Keep it up. And yeah, he was, and I want you to give this name, and I want you to make sure you give it to your supervisor, and this and that. And the guy was really working with her. He was saying, "What, whatever. I'm gonna escalate this to my team, to my supervisor, and a team will be working on this, and this they'll be getting back to you." Talking to Tuss with her, that's a silly bitch. ODS ain't did a thing to that girl with that boy. And she done went and called that man job. Now I don't know if she did it today again, but she had done it 2 days in a goddamn row. But ODS said, when I was on his lab with him last night, he said that people been calling his job for years. This ain't nothing new. But Tulsa just bold enough to do it on live. But I think that's harassing and bullying. You're threatening me to take my job, and I think her PO Tulsa's PO need to know. ODS ain't got no PO. Dumb asshole. And I put a note in here, and I don't know why I did it. I put on here when this was to Rico that when you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. And I'm not talking about your dog. I'm talking about like just in the world, people. You're gonna get a lot of times you're gonna get burnt. They're gonna burn you just to burn you. They're gonna turn against you just to do it. And Rico, old as you is, I know you done been through shit like this or worse before. Don't let this shit get you down. And you a man, stand up and act like one. Just know you can't be fooling with these hoes on here. Don't nobody like each other on here. And don't be thinking these people your friends. They not your friends just because you met them and had drinks with them. I went to the club with them. You went to DC Gate and VS was there, and y'all hate each other. But y'all was in the same vehicle. She gave you a ride. Well, honey, don't put too much emphasis on these people because they don't mean you no good. Okay. Now Nika, she been going live, and she is feeling better. Like for as her health and her mental, because she thought lost 3 family members within a year, and that's why it looked like like some people dragging her just to do it. Well, now Nika is back, and she's back to fight. And she say like the ones that was messing with her and dogging her out when she was going through her grief, she's out for blood. And one name she called was King Roman Nude. It's up and it's stuck because she say he was kicking her when she was down. Because she lost like her twin brother, she lost her daddy, and she lost her sister. And that's all. That was blow after blow after blow. You know. And like people express their grief differently. I ain't telling nobody how to grieve. But she was saying, telling, I'm just got to step back from YouTube because, I just got to get myself together. And, and like she hadn't been gang banging and stuff in a long time, but she out for blood right now. And I don't blame her. You don't kick me when I'm going through. I done lost my damn daddy. I done lost my damn sister. And I done lost my damn brother. Just wiped out. Everybody I know, except my kids and, my nieces and stuff. That's a low blow. And like when I lost my mother, that was a low blow to me. But I did my grieving internally. People don't know how I was grieving. People that's my friends and my family don't know how I grieve, you know. And it is what it is. And I wish my mother was here so bad because she was like my friend. We'd have the best time shopping, and we liked a lot of the same things, a whole lot of the same thing. And I know she loved me, and she know I loved her. So just think about Nika. Now her mama died when she was a young girl, but her daddy has always been there for her. Her sister, she lost a twin, like her. I think her brother was her twin, and then like you losing that part of you, and then you lose your sister. Her sister used to be on live with her sometime. We It was like we knew her, and it wiped all them out. And that's a lot for anybody. I don't know if I could have stood it, but God don't put no more on you than you can bear. You know, you have to be strong. And see, I had to be strong because I have a daughter and a son, and then I had my two granddaughters. Then my great grand wasn't even thought about. But I'm just saying, life goes on, and you have to be strong for others in your family. And you know, I stress family a lot because I love my family. I don't understand like a lot of these people how they cuss and stuff against their family and talk about their family on YouTube. I could never. I would never, never. I've heard people say, "I hope my sister die. I hope she die. She ain't dying fast enough. Fuck that bitch. And I hope she get cancer." Oh hell, that would never, never. I wouldn't want y'all to think I was like that. Ooh, that's awful. Okay, now Rune Shakers, it was I seen Nika was up there, Empress, just Empress, and they had like girl talk last night. She talked about that's when she was discussing the KRN and the Crystal thing. She said she don't have no idea why Crystal jumped out the porch on her, but she say it's up and it's stuck with Crystal and it's up and it's stuck with KRN. She said that the Crystal, she said she really not gonna be as hard on her, but she say anytime I feel like snatching her by her wig and swinging her around my head 3 or 4 times, she say she gonna do that whenever she want to. Cause she say she didn't do a thing to Crystal. They've been knowing each other for a long time on here as content creators, and she be damned if she let her get away with it. Okay, and I understand. I understand everybody. You know. Okay, let me see what it is. Now this is funny. Okay, now Mike Martin, you know he went it. It's as I said something about he would f his daughter. You know, and Mike Martin now he got his one child, and his he raised her, and she's real, as a dad. And he did not like what Mike Martin said, and so his old lady, she lived in the state wherever that is where um SSI is from. She's from there, so they took a vacation up there. Like he said, he was going to the different Niagara Falls and doing stuff with her, but he was telling it's in New Jersey, I think, somewhere like that. Well, he made up a dumbass excuse where he had to go to New Jersey, told his old lady that. And so, I guess he dropped her. I don't know what he did with the woman. But honey, he was tracking uh SSI. He took a picture on SSI porch. He had sit on the man porch, child. He drove through at night and all of that. And he seen SSI when they were going to some kind of graduation. And Mike Martin, he was him and his old lady and her family or whatever. They was going to a graduation. I don't know if it was the same graduation or whatever, but Mike never did confront him. But he let it be known that he can, he let it be known a little bit out on the streets, on the YouTube streets, what he had did. He was leaving like breadcrumbs, like he was giving his picture and tell them to put that up there and stuff. And he said the person they'll know when they see it. And child, the Big Leck the other night he played the damn he was playing he showed pictures that Mike Martin had took. He showed video of him driving by Mike Martin house with filming it and all kind of bullshit. Now this is funny right here because everybody been saying, "How could he come through that neighborhood?" And you always talking about how people are bad in that neighborhood and this and that, and the vice lords and this and that, and you can't nobody get to come up in my hood and all of that. Well, honey, my money was all through the hood, got in the yard, and he said he took a bag out the car, and he act like it was DoorDash. That's how he got to get on the porch, y'all. So a lot of the people over in the Mo 3 sector, they are pissed off with Mike Martin. They calling him a stalker and all of that kind of stuff. But you can't tell nobody how to fight you. Ain't nobody got no halo on their head. But in SSI say, if you tell me you're sorry, I won't put the police on you. What you gonna do? Tell the police that he came and sit on my porch? What you gonna do? Say he drove by my house and videoed it? They gonna look at you like you real crazy. Well, honey, I've been getting my life with that. SSI is outdone. And I think Mike was in a troll page, and he when he was videoing, doing the shit he was doing with SSI, and SSI was live, and he was putting different stuff in the chat, and it was a mess, y'all. It was a mess. And DG, he telling the man, put police on him, have him arrested, man. Because he can't stand Mike Martin. And Mike Martin can't stand DG. So it's some lot of ones over there that want SSI to put the police on Mike Martin. But it's a lot of people that no, they ain't going for that. Because you is my kid, my daughter, or my son. Ain't no telling what I might do. He lucky that Mike Martin didn't jump down and jump on him. Park the car and just jump on him. You never know what's in the people's mind. Y'all seen what happened in Vegas? The man walked up and powed that woman and that man and his wife over YouTube. So you don't know what's in a person's mind. You don't know. You might be messing with a total lunatic picking with them. We don't know each other. So that was going on. And the other day on Mysterious, she cussed. No, we was at the Captain's, I think. She cussed Mike Martin out like he had a tail, y'all. Ooh, she cussed Mike Martin out. Because SSI is real special to her. They've been knowing each other for a long time on here. And she understand that, she keeps telling everybody that he have like mental problems, SSI do. But if you got mental problems, you wouldn't be scared. Why you get scared? You've been talking about putting your thing down kids' throats and assaulting them at the booty and all that kind of stuff. Because he said the awfulest things. And the day the captain on the panel, and he really didn't want to, but Mysterious was up there, so he let him come up. And he all that um the captain said Don't we're not gonna be talking about no kids over here. And SSI told him, fuck you and fuck your kids. And the captain dropped it. And then he let him up a while later, and he was saying the same thing. And and nigga, I pin you down and rape you and talking just crazy. And everybody ain't for that shit. And I'm being for real. Everybody ain't for that. Mike Moore just let him know I could have touched you if I wanted to, you know. And it is what it is. And SSI, he like Rex. He wanted always to give out his address. I'm at such and such, like Rico do too. It's some of these people on here. Yep, this is where I live and all of that. And taking pictures outside and all that kind of bullshit. But see, that stuff come back to haunt you, you know. But he said that SSI, this was the funny part. He said he don't know how Mike Martin got by them vice lords. SSI, them little young boys, they probably look at you like an old man. They wasn't paying no attention. They was not, them people wasn't paying no attention about no cars coming down that street. It was people standing all out in the street at night and stuff when he was riding through. But SSI, you better leave that man alone. You better leave that little man alone. Okay? They say that WAP channel got taken over there in the Mo 3 sector. Why, I don't know. Um, Let me see. Another thing, 'cause I'm kind of bouncing around. I'm just talking like I'm y'all. I'm just laid back talking. But one thing I can say about KRN, he didn't hide what he did concerning the Rico dog. He a dog lover. He love his dog. He treat his dog like a baby. And that's why and he didn't like what Rico when Rico was hitting that dog. And he said he went live and said it. And he went live and said that he was gonna report Rico. Now this was early in the month of July. Okay, he have been making lives since then. And one of the lives I remember, he said he had called them people. He said they gave him some kind of number, like I guess a, a tracking a ticket number. So I guess when he called, to find out have you resolved this animal control issue and this and that, they gave him a ticket number. Now he said this weeks ago. Now what he did the other day was just calling down there on him. That was just a double up on what he already had done. You know, the people just hadn't got down there to him. I think the only reason that the police came the other night is because Rico was showing them damn guns on him. I mean, them knives. And then they got to see the video. Rico showed them the video, and whatever they seen on that video, they took him to jail, and he stayed overnight for it. Whatever it was. And Rico said it was like 6 o'clock in the morning when they knocked on his door. Okay. Now today at the captain's, Gina was up there. No, this is not today. Wait a minute. No, this was. Wait a minute. This was yesterday on the cap. On the captain, it was Gina, New Era King, Mike Martin, Mysterious. This is what Mysterious cussed him out at on this live. 100K, King Kangaroo, Not on My Watch, Freaky and the mayor of Detroit. Okay, now the word was out on the street because Captain asked Gina about it. That 88 had said that Gina had herpes, and so of course Captain gonna ask her about that, and she said it's a lie. Um, Mike Martin and Mysterious, I told you about their argument because they had it out over there. They had it out really bad. Donald Goins got into it with Gina. They got into it pretty bad. Meek got into it with Gina. Not on my watch got into it with Gina. And the captain drew straight like that. And that's what happened on that live. And plus, I discussed some of the things already, but I'm just going down my timeline on what I seen. Okay. And yesterday on the captain, I don't know how this came up, but the captain said not on my watch had put something in the chat concerning Gina and OYB. And Gina said, well, yeah, she had to go get some money for him or something like that. He had picked her up. They went to the bank and got some money. And then she was supposed to give the money back. Because I think his Cash App got froze or something. Whatever. But they had to do a transaction at the bank. Linda said that Gina said that he got paid for her time, which was like a $50 bag of weed and stuff like that. Well, then they kept talking, and she let it be known that OYB was in her house yesterday. And, Brandon ain't no good. He held that in his hat. But Brandon got to moving around yesterday in the Mo 3 sector, and he found Gina. No, he found OYB and his girlfriend somewhere. It was one of them channels I don't think I'm subscribed to it. But OYB, the captain went over there and got on the panel. And the OYB was up there with his girlfriend. And she like looked like she might be Latina. She don't look white, but she look like she might be Hispanic or something like that. But she have really fair skin and she got long hair. And Gina think her hair is the longest in the world and all of that. But honey, this sister got her beat about 5 inches on her. And she's, real light. Well, when OB come to find out, when OYB took Gina, when he took her to the bank and they went to the dispensary, that he paid her the $50 a week, and then he said when she gave him his money back, he was like $20 short. So she stole $20 from him. Well, while they was riding, OYB started talking to his girlfriend on the phone. And Gina got mad and she started screaming and stuff. Well, honey, OYB had his girlfriend on the panel, and not on my watch asked her, what did Gina say when she found out he was talking to you on the phone? And the woman tried to talk like Gina that I don't even motherfucking, she was doing that, but she was doing it in a cute way because she don't really, she don't know Gina. Well, honey, Gina got out of her body. She went over there and she was streaming the captain. She started posting all kind of crazy stuff on her walls, and it was a damn mess. Do you hear me? Gina, you going out bad, sister. And you keep talking about your man be at work and stuff, but then you'll slip up and say he here. And then before when they had an argument, her and her boo, she said he didn't have no job. She said he wasn't paying no bills. She was just telling everything over there at Ducks. about a month ago. So you got this man living up in your house. Now you lie like he had all these vehicles and stuff. Why the fuck he got the right drive yours all the time? That nigga ain't got no car. He ain't got no. He keep her car. So he ain't got no job. This kind of man you done pick. You a middle aged woman. You picked a man that ain't got no goddamn job. You picked a man that ain't got no motherfucking car. You picking a man that just have a man. And I don't get it. I know ain't nowhere in the world. You carry yourself awful to be a lady your age. Showing out between your legs, pulling your titties out, then paying ODS like $3,000 to uh to be a couple with you. If you child, that's the stupidest stuff I ever heard of in my life. To say you got a man, you gonna go get a man that ain't got shit. Ain't nowhere in the world, honey. Ain't now coming up in here without something and a lot of it. You going to have a lot of whatever I want. Ah, she just dumb, desperate. And then if you happy with that bum you done bought home, why you keep messing with OYB? She got mad at OYB yesterday, child, and she punched him in his stomach because he wouldn't give her no kiss. OYB, you need to quit fooling with Gina. You need to leave her alone. You know, just let her be. You know that woman ain't rap tight. OYB. You out here making her look stupid. Now, y'all, he in the Las Vegas sector. He OYB do content on that. I'm gonna tell you guys somebody that's been going to the trying to fit in with them people, just like they tried to fit in with the Mo 3B sector. Is Trish. Now she gonna what she gonna do is just like she did in the Mo 3 sector. Gonna go over there telling them about they sector and they already know. That's stupid. And they say she doing the Vegas sector the same way, but I think them people they damn didn't kick her all the way away from them. Trish is another desperate one. Okay, let me see. Hold up. Sure. Uh. Okay, now Room Shaker the other day on her live she had Pastor Krista, Olivia, Lovely Love, the mayor of Detroit. Now it came up. Now I don't know how true this is because I tried to find Madeline Diet, her page, or either OB, her husband page. After I heard this yesterday, I could not pull their pages up. I don't know what the hell going on because I know I'm subscribed to OB and her. And then Miss not Miss Mona, Miss damn, I can't think of what I left. Miss whatever her name is. IB and his wife Diet, they have been having back and forth with this lady, Miss I can't think of what her name is. Well, they for a long time, years, and they be putting the police, and doing court paperwork back and forth on each other. Well, child, they say that Miss whatever her name, some kind of way she missed one of them court dates, and the judge charged her $25,000. Y'all hear me? $25,000. Because they see they be going back and forth on YouTube, and then they'll run down and put charges on each other. Well, Miss, damn, I can't think what her name is. She didn't show up to court, and the judge awarded them $25,000. Now that's crazy, ain't it? Over YouTube. Okay. Hold on. What is that lady name? Miss. Damn, what's her name? It ain't Miss Mona. I can't think of what the lady name is. She's pretty and she do like lingerie. She do lives with lingerie, and plus she have an OnlyFans, which ain't nothing wrong with that. Get down how you live. Anybody that's on them sites, get down how you live. You know, but she's not ashamed of being on there. She pretty and her daughter's pretty. You know, but yeah, she do a lot of stuff in lingerie. I don't know if she a lingerie model or what. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Now, Cooling, they say she lost her page, one of her pages, and so the page that she on now is Cooling's Not. This Not. Wait a minute. Knot. Wait a minute. Cooling's Not. I think it's Knot or something like this. She got it spelled, but that's where she gonna being at, and that's about it. And y'all know, Tsunami is supposed to be hidden. I think like in Hawaii and places like that. Uh, I think it's supposed to be around midnight or 1 o'clock, somewhere around in there. Now they have showed like videos like when it hit in Russia and stuff, and this is coming like this a big tidal wave that's happening like out in the ocean where they have some tsunami alerts out. Big, a lot of people evacuating. They're telling people like to go up at least to the 10th story in buildings if if you have to go there, and they say that you actually need to go like 4 floors up if it's 4 floors that you can go up. Because the waves, whenever they come up inland, they're gonna be big. It was a it was a big 8 point something magnitude earthquake under the sea, and that's what's causing this. This being felt like in Russia, Hawaii, the United States, like Oregon, California, all those places. Now I don't know about Florida, but like it was like an undersea earthquake, and it was really high on the magnitude, and so they scared there's gonna be a lot of deaths and stuff. Now, some people in some of the islands in Hawaii, because a couple of years ago there was a huge fire that like wiped out damn near a whole island, and they had a very poor like fire, to put out the fires, the firemen. It was like underfunded, and a lot of people lost everything they had. Well, a lot of rich people went in there and bought some of them people land for nothing, and they say Oprah Winfrey was one of the people. Which on some of them other islands, because they want these islands because they want to put resorts and stuff on them, and they're trying to run them people out that's native to that land on these different islands over there. And they say Oprah. Now I don't know how true this is, but I seen on MSNBC that the people on some of the islands are saying that she's hampering them from getting to safety. Now, how true that is, I don't know. Oprah, I hope you ain't being that low down. You need to they need to have it some kind of way for them people to get to safety. They don't have to drown. It don't have to get out of control like that fire did and just burn up people and burn everything they got down to the ground. And then y'all come in with that little chump change to get the people because they desperate, ain't got no damn money or nothing and no roof over their head. Then you give them chump change and you gonna make big resorts and shit and make millions and millions of dollars. Oh my Jesus. Now I hope Oprah ain't doing that. But I'm just telling you that's what they say that she did. Her and a lot of rich people went over there and they like the way the people on these different islands are saying, like when they had that big old fire, I mean it burned up most of the island, like 80% of the island. And you think about how many of them people was displaced. Okay? And like and then you done sold your stuff, but then later on they building all these big buildings and stuff and parks and things like that, and a place for the rich people to go. And you done took my homeland. But they did the same thing to the Indians, so it is what it is. I don't care if you black, white, or green. They did the same thing to the Indians and pushed them out of their land and got some of them stuck on them reservations. Okay, let's see. Make sure I spoke to everybody, and I'm gonna get up out of here because I gotta eat, child. Okay, now if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Okay, and if you got a couple of dollars rolling around in your wallet, hit my cash out. Okay. Now I'm gonna get off of the YouTube and run these streets for a little while and eat my dinner. I'm having Arby's tonight, and I have a salad from last night. That's what I'm having for dinner tonight. Yeah, I'm getting ready to get up out of here, and I really appreciate you guys for coming. To spend a couple of minutes with me. Okay. Ooh, child. Rico, you might be down, but you ain't out, buddy. Ooh, child. And Rico, pay these people dust. They ain't worth it. You don't need to lose nothing there. Ooh, child. I'll see you next time. Bye.